Yo, 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 what's going on? It's the NRW, where nerds rule the world. It's your boy, Kuyapi, aka Patrick Michael Strange, and I'm back covering Hawkeye on Disney Plus with my good pal. She runs New Release Wednesday, the comics portion of the whole NRW tribe. I'm super excited to have her back, Miss Heather Hurt. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm excited. Happy to see you. Sorry we missed out on... I think we said after we did the 1 and 2 recap that we were going to do it each episode, but we stay busy, y'all. So you'll have to give us a little bit of your, I don't know. What is it? What are we looking for?
Patience.
Patience. Yeah, that's it. We were going to like knock out per episodes, but this is going to be a 3 and 4 recap. We did 1 and 2 together, so we might as well keep it on that flow. This will be 3 and 4. And then we'll do a recap of 5 and 6 altogether. So we're talking about episode 3, which is called Echoes, and episode 4 called Partners Am I Right? So let's get into it. Heather, are you ready to get into this Hawkeye madness, this Hawkeye craziness?
Yeah, I'm ready to talk some Hawkeye. I'm ready to talk some Hawkeye.
All right, so let's get into Echoes, episode 3. Maybe want to break down I guess a little bit of the plot, and then we'll get into characters and then like a review of episode 3.
Sure. So I don't know about you, but I was actually kind of disappointed that just to preface it, that before this episode aired, Disney came out and announced the Echo television show before we saw Echo.
Well, we didn't get her in the finale of 2 though.
No, it was before the finale. It was before episode 2 that they announced it, or it was like same day. It was something weird like that.
Yeah, it was okay. That was kind of awkward.
But that's all right. So, but episode 2, that's who we're, or episode 3, it's who we're talking about. It's we get to see Echo's backstory. We get to see what Maya was doing, and where she and why she wants the Ronin now. And it's really heartbreaking, and it actually kind of hurts your soul during that episode, to see why, even though her past might not be great, it really reminds us that not a bad person, someone who does bad things might not be a bad person. And that's kind of where we start. We right where it ended, we bring in Echo, we get her backstory, and then we spend a good portion of the time with their fight. We're watching the jumpsuits and Hawkeye and his mini-me fighting and playing with all the specialty arrows and trying to get away. And of course, throughout that, there comes the whole concept of hard of hearing versus deaf. And one of the best scenes so far is when Echo straight up says, you can do better without that hearing aid.
It was so good. So good.
But that's kind of how we ended episode 3, is that just the fallout from there. And of course, where I'll leave the end to when we get to number 4, because that all just strings right together. So we'll talk about the end of the episode when we talk about number 4.
Okay. So I'll highlight some characters before we kind of give like a review breakdown outside of what Heather just said. We get to meet Echo's father, Willie Crazy Horse Lincoln. He's a notable character. And if you are a fan of, I think it's on Hulu, Reservation Dogs, the sheriff character, it's the same guy, I believe. Zan McClarnon. Let me double check this, make sure I'm giving him the right. Yes, he plays Big on Reservation Dogs. I'm a big fan of Reservation Dogs. It's a great series. If you haven't checked it out, Taika Waititi is one of the producers behind that show, and it's so good. But Zan McClarnon plays William Lopez, Echo's pops, and as he's dying, as a throwback to the comic book, which I know you know a little bit more than I do on this, Heather. There's like the spot that Maya has on her face, and we kind of see that with the blood when she touches her father in that. So it's in a different location apparently than where it is in the comic book, but it's kind of like a touch upon that on the character. And also, before I go any further, shout out to David Mack, who's the artist that helped create Echo and is a friend and a good dude, and it's awesome to see him see this character in the series. I've been following David posting his happiness about Echo making this transition into the MCU. So I'm so happy for him and having this character represented because it's such an amazing character. So shout out to that. But anyway, who are also some other notable actors in this particular episode? A little bit more on Kazi Kazimierz, played by Fra Free. Again, kind of like Maya's buddy. In this, I think we saw a throwback. I wasn't sure if it was this episode or the previous episode that apparently the characters knew each other as kids in these regards to this MCU style universe. I don't know if it translated in the comic books as well. Correct me if I'm wrong, Heather, if they were friends as kids in the comic.
They were kind of, it's like when you're friends with your parents' work friends, kids. So, they grew up in the same situation.
Got it.
And I think that actually transitions very well here. They trust each other, but there's still a very clear line between we are a work family and we trust each other entirely. Yeah. Like you can tell that Kazi has kind of this inkling, like, I don't know if I trust you as my leader. So it's that's kind of the feeling that they've always had. They grew up in this gang, in this gang lifestyle, and here they are now. Maya needed someone who could help, and he was there to support her. Yeah, kind of thing.
Gotcha. Okay. And as I started scrolling a little bit, so we did see a Little Maya and Little Kazi episode because there's two actors that are given the credit as Little Maya and Little Kazi. So shout out to them. I'll throw their names out there: Darnell Besaw and Phoenix Creppen. Get your flowers. So yeah, to me, the biggest notable actor that I just really wanted to highlight in regards to, everybody returning back that we love on this series. But a new standout would be William Lopez, Maya's father, played by Zan McClarnon, whom I love on Reservation Dogs. So there's your background on story. There's your character spotlight. Now let's review this episode. Can I start, Heather?
Go ahead.
I love this episode. This episode was awesome. This gave me everything. Again, no shade to the first two, but we really got in on some action on this episode. I've got some notes here. Let me scroll up. The intro, Echo, getting the background on her character. I love it. Again, I'm not too familiar on the comic side of the house. I'm sure Heather can touch upon this, but me not knowing about her background, just seeing that origin as a little kid, seeing, well, actually not really seeing, but as a person that is very blessed to be able to hear, to see the when you can't hear and how they filmed that cinematically and the audio levels on when there's silence and then people that can't hear, all that. I think that was really done well to kind of explain those differences, and that we are very blessed for those of us that have the ability to hear, and those that have to learn, that cannot hear, how they change or how they evolve to be able to get the message and read lips and just all that. I think that was really well done. So to get that, so great origin goodness that we get there. I love the karate scene in Karate Class, where how she can break it down, and to me it's its own superpower in a way, right? With this world of superheroes here, this is just a human capability that then goes on superhuman levels to just break things down and figure out the opponent, and the character does. I love that. And then it carried on further when we got to her, I guess, as current stages or a teenager, where she's in a boxing ring, and we see the leg she's missing a leg. I would love to, I'm hoping you can give me a little bit more information on that. Did she not have the leg when she was a little kid? Did I miss that? So I want to know what happened with the leg. So there's that thing there. And then we get into this amazing car chase scene. And also tears. I'm a huge fan of Toys R Us and KB Toys. To have this whole abduction in a defunct KB Toy store just breaks my heart. I miss KB Toys. I miss Toys R Us. So shout out to them. I wish we can get a new toy store back from my youth, but that was awesome. And then from there, this amazing car chase scene. In some of my notes, I also see that there was I think they took it a little bit from the comic book. There was like a Dodge Challenger, but then they don't get into that car that Kate wanted into. Instead, they go into this classic car. That was cool. And the trick arrows that I know you're probably going to go into a little bit more.
Yes.
If we're having a Hawkeye series, you got to talk about arrows, and did this deliver or not on different type of arrows? OMG. I just was completely loving it. And I think those are my biggest notes on that. I hope I didn't take away too much from you, Heather, but go ahead and give me some of your review recap and just highlights that you really enjoyed.
Well, I think we're missing out on one of the big one. No pun in it. No pun meant for Hank Pym. Congratulations, sir, on getting your 5 seconds in the show. But we haven't talked about Uncle yet, and how that is absolutely Fisk.
Oh yeah. We
haven't talked. That's one of the best scenes.
We kind of half saw the character in that one scene, but didn't, right? But
it also happened, ironically, the week that Feige says that Cox is coming back as Daredevil.
True.
No, just ironically, it just happened. So I wasn't able to watch the last week's episode, number 3, on the date it came out. It was Wednesday. There were new comics out. There were other things. Thank you, Marvel, for picking new release Wednesdays. New comic book days to release comic book television show. But so the one thing I saw everywhere was that was Wilson Fisk. That was Wilson. It was him. Yes, and we all know there's only one Kingpin in New York City. So that's so exciting. We know Daredevil's going to be back. He's not going to be back for Spider-Man, y'all. Calm down. Jesus Christ. He's going to be back for She-Hulk. We want him back for She-Hulk.
I think that's where we'll see him. I agree with you there. I think that's where we'll see him.
I think that's when we need to see him. But that was the big one for me. The car chase was just so much fun. And yes, it's one of the big call outs to the comic books. It's, Clint will never destroy a beautiful classic car. He'll never do that. So he'll pick the hunk of junk first. But then it just hurts him internally when it's the one that ends up getting destroyed overall, of course. And it's always him. He's always the one that has to destroy it. And so that was probably really fun to talk about toy stores from our childhood, though. Did you see Toys R Us is trying to come back?
Oh, really?
Yeah. So we won't get KB toys. I know for all of my collector buyers, for toy collectors, KB Toys was the it store. That's where you went and you got everything that nobody wanted. So you got all of the cool toys.
It was the mall store too.
Exactly.
It was the one mainly in the mall. Yeah.
But that was a lot of fun. The one thing that was disappointing when it comes to the sound variances that we saw was it wasn't necessarily Echo's story. When we got that, we would get somewhere it's like, okay, here's we can't hear the teacher, we can't hear this small part of the karate. We got more of the issues with hearing with Clint, who admitted during the fight he's hard of hearing, not deaf. And so that was kind of disappointing to me. I do think it's cute as a side statement that most of the cast did want to learn sign language for.
Oh yeah.
Alakua
Cox.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to say her name wrong. When she came to set, I thought that was really cute that they announced it. Yeah, that most of the cast and crew was like, we wanted to learn. We didn't want her to come in and have to figure out how to speak with us. And that's really cute because this isn't the first situation in Marvel where the cast has come together and they're like, we know we're privileged. We don't want to make them work harder. And that's really, really, really sweet.
Yeah, beautiful. They did that on the Eternal set too, from what I remember, which was really sweet. I that's so cool. So cool.
It's awesome. So yeah, this episode was definitely a lot more fun than the first two. A lot more fun.
I'm with that. Also, in regards to you got me thinking about Laqua Cox when you brought her up again. The younger Echo was actually her relative, if I'm not mistaken, like her niece when they cast her. The younger little Maya is Darnell Besaw, which is like a relative of hers. It's like
that's awesome. That's always sweet when they can bring in family members like that. Yeah. Oh my gosh, that just reminded me of something else, and I completely forgot what I wanted to say. Crap.
my bad.
No. That was there was something. Oh well, I'll remember it when we keep talking, I'm sure.
No worries. But yeah, fantastic episode. The little Wilson Fisk kind of call out possibly is that him, but we all know, comic fans know. I know another thing that you had brought up when in regards to Daredevil and that him coming back into the fray. I actually didn't watch the Daredevil Netflix stuff. I saw a little bit. What do you think about that with them saying that Charlie Cox will still be Daredevil in the TV MCU from the Netflix
what
stuff?
will be curious to me? Oh, that's what it was. Okay, I'm gonna take a step back real quick to talk about Little Maya. That just reminded me.
Go ahead.
One of the big things that was really cute is when Maya, as a child, is asking if dragons are real.
That was so touching. My heart was breaking.
That's supposed to be happening at the exact same time Shang-Chi is fighting a dragon in the other multiverse, in the other universe.
My heart.
How cute is that?
Oh, my heart. So very sweet.
The dragons are real, Maya. They are real.
My heart was just ripped open with that. That was so very sweet.
That's cute. Apparently, but that's when you're looking at the timelines, we know when the universe is collapsing, we know all three of those moments. But apparently, to make sure it's very clear, that's so cute. There are dragons. They're just fighting in a different space and time.
I love that. That is so sweet. Okay, so cute.
Okay, so now going to Daredevil.
Charlie Cox, him coming into the MCU world from the Netflix world.
What I would be curious about is it going to be this universe's Charlie Cox, like this universe's Daredevil, or are we bringing in, or is Marvel going to say that the Netflix series are from an alternate universe and then they're coming in and that's why we are going to potentially see these other characters? Because right now, the only person that's been confirmed is Charlie Cox. It's the only person who has been, who will be coming in from what is the Netflix universe. Even though we know that they took place at the same time, both of them did. They both the MCU and the Netflix universe have called on one another. At some point, someone said like some guy is running around in red and can't see in the multiverse in the MCU or something like that. It's one of those where, is it going to be this universe's Daredevil, or are we going? Is this the reason that they think they can bring him in is because the universe is about to collapse and we can just connect everything now? But it'll be interesting. And see,
how do you feel about that? Are you good with that, or did you want them to do a clean slate, bring it in on their own, or do you like the fact that they're bringing over the Netflix stuff?
I would prefer them to bring over the Netflix stuff because other than, and I'm going to say, and this is going, I'm going to get so much hate on this. I'm sorry. I'm a white woman, and this is what's going to happen. I apologize for being a white woman. Okay, I apologize for it. But it's one of those where, other than the fan and comic voices against what became of Iron Fist, and the show was shit. The show was shit.
That's the one I don't want to be. Before you go further, that's the one I don't want. I want a recast completely there. Everybody else I'm fine with. I
don't. The thing is if we're going to keep him, we need to give him we need to give him a better basis and better directors. Like that's, you can be, I'm not going to say anything of the actor. Should he be Asian? Absolutely he should. But Danny is also white in the comics, so we can transition. The one person I will always argue should have been Asian is Ancient. She should have been, yes, she is white in the comics, but we should have, the MCU should have rewritten Ancient One as an Asian person. Iron Fist, Danny, I'm a little bit like, but it should have been written better. Like it just should have been written better, period.
Yeah.
But Jessica Jones, we want Jessica Jones. We want that version of Luke Cage, and we want that version of Daredevil. We want all of them here.
I'm with it.
I am more than happy to have the Netflix just miraculously smushed into what we currently have. I actually think there will be more problems if we like I work for Disney, yeah, right. if Disney kind of amalgamates it and says, oh, it's because we're only bringing in this one character from this universe and we don't want to accept anything else, I think that's really negating how well the other 3 shows did. So personal opinions.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I love John Bernthal. That's I actually, of the Netflix stuff.
Yes, I'm sorry.
That's the only one I like completely watched. That first season of Punisher. Oh, and Luke Cage.
Yeah, Luke Cage.
Those were the 2 I watched.
I'm okay with.
Oh, and Jessica Jones. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
Everyone but Daredevil. I couldn't get, and Iron Fist. I couldn't really get into. I definitely didn't get after an episode or 2 of Iron Fist. Like no, just no. And then Daredevil, I wanted to, I just didn't find the time. And Jessica Jones season 1, Luke Cage season 1, and Punisher season 1. I saw, but the rest of it I didn't fully see.
Punisher, I'm so sorry, Bernthal. That was awful. I completely missed it. Punisher was clearly the best series. Like it was the strongest series. It was the best written. Luke Cage was the most story, and it was a beautiful story that took way too long to get anywhere, but it was perfectly cast. And it was absolutely well done. Jessica Jones was just a really fun romp. Really terrible romp. It should have come with trigger warnings. But,
yeah.
Iron Fist. I'm going to start at the beginning. The writing was terrible. The directing was terrible. I've said it in the past. You can have a great script bring up a poor actor, but no matter the quality of actor, you can't have an actor bring up a script. And that was just shit from the beginning.
I completely agree. Yeah.
And so Daredevil was great for the first 2 seasons. That third season, I don't know what happened. we can just bring over Elektra and Daredevil from those first 2 seasons and it'll be fine.
You know what? If that happens, I'm going to catch up. I will go back and watch it all. Because I want to, and actually, nothing against them. I just time wise, I was limited. So, but yeah. Anyway, let's get back on track. Let's get to episode 4. So I think we're in both agreement. Episode 3 was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing ride. Trick arrows. Oh, actually, before we leave, do you have a favorite arrow of the arrows they use?
I kind of really liked the toy arrow. I'm not going to deny as a toy collector, the one that just. She's like, where do I shoot? And it's literally just bounced off him with a boing. It was just like, yes, okay, that's the arrow.
That was hilarious. It was so good. And then the plunger arrow, the sticky arrow, because that's what, as when you get a bow and arrow set, you get the little sticky one that you can just plunk on something. So the fact that they actually utilize that as a functional device and that they had to scramble to get it and use it to save themselves, that was super cool. I love that. So anyway, episode 3 was
that if you were a kid and you saw that with the really shitty wooden ones that you got as a kid, you would have been trying to like connect it to the ceiling. And if this was 20 years ago, that would be a very different response.
It was so much fun. So all right, there you go. Episode 3, Echoes, super cool. Now me and my partner Heather are going to talk about episode 4, Partners. Am I right? So go ahead, Heather.
Partners and best friends.
Oh yeah.
So partners and best friends, Kate and Clint, they have snuck in. She has the damn key to Kate's mom's penthouse. We find out during episode 3 that the reason that they have such a luxurious penthouse is because her grandfather, which if you read the comics, the Bishops have a long-standing history in New York, much of it crime-based, and it's one of those where we find out that where she gets her money, and we also know a little bit more of to why in the fourth episode we figure out a little bit as to why there's a security firm, that her mother runs a security firm, so she's trying to figure out more of what is going on with Kazi. That's where we kind of end episode 3, and then of course we have Jack releasing the Ronin blade on Ronin. Sure, smart moves. And that leads to a really cute moment between Kate and her mom, realizing that her mom might actually be happy with somebody. But it also leads us to understand where Kate's mom is potentially in this new fake shield kind of situation, and how that will lead to episode 4 seemed really segmented, because it was almost like it's the B in the ABC line. You have to get from A to C somehow, and this is where the B was.
Yeah.
We started with getting the information, and we ended in a completely different spot. And that different spot was with a Black Widow attack.
All right. So that'll be my lead into characters before we talk about our review of episode 4. So the biggest highlight, the one we've been waiting for since the Black Widow film, Florence Pugh is here as Yelena Belova. We see them get into a little kerfuffle on top of the building. Great introduction, as well as having Alako Cox back as Maya Lopez, Echo. Just that kind of like fight scene was really sweet, really well done. But it's the introduction we were looking forward to of the new Black Widow making her appearance, and Florence Pugh is here. But we didn't get too much because it kind of finished off the episode, but was one that was highly anticipated and super excited to see. So that character is here. The LARPers, if you enjoyed the LARPers, I think it was like episode 2. Those characters, Grills played by Clayton English, Wendy Adetinpo Thomas, Adele Drajos is Missy, and Robert Walker Branchaud. I love the LARPers, and as I'm sure we'll talk when we talk a little bit more in our highlights and reviews, they brought up the notion of making the Hawkeye and Kate both the OG Clint and Kate's costumes. I'm super excited about that as someone who runs a cosplay charity and deals with cosplayers all the time. For all my cosplayer friends out there, that was super cool. So there you go. Those are, I would say, the big highlights character wise. We got Florence Pugh and the LARPer people squad back in this episode. So those are your highlights on characters. Heather, let's break down this episode, our favorite moments, review stuff for episode 4.
So once again, this episode was so pieced apart. They didn't have a good flow, just because I feel like it wasn't supposed to. It was definitely a good episode, and it gave us a lot of information. There were some really nice pieces. Like we got a little bit more about the hard of hearing and deaf kind of context with the flashing lights in Maya's apartment. We got to see a little bit more of a Black Widow, or White Widow. She's technically White Widow. A little bit more of her movements again. And we also got that really good flashback. We get to see what Clint is truly going through emotionally, because one of the big things that we never talk about enough, and MCU has really tried to place very clearly, is PTSD. And PTSD, it happens to everyone. It can happen in every position. But when you lose someone close, it can definitely affect you in a far different way. But at the same time, the exact same way. And it's really important to see what Clint's going through. It also gives us a little bit more information on Laura, his wife. What do you think she does? We know that she works for S.H.I.E.L.D. because that's how they
speak
met.
a different language too.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? Actually, upon that, there was this rumor. I want to hear your take, Heather. Okay. I don't know if you saw it. They're saying, could she be Mockingbird? What do you think about that?
No.
Like they retooled it for, yeah, I'm with you. I'd rather, and another friend kind of made her own post when that comment was put out there. Mockingbird deserves more, you know, like her own story, like, you know, because she's a great character on her own, right?
She was also in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Did we get a Mockingbird in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
We got a Mockingbird in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Who's Mockingbird on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? You know what? I do now recall it, but I can't remember the character. I can't remember.
I did not. That's one of those Marvel series that I did not watch. I was not a big fan of the initial series, of the initial few episodes, so I just couldn't get into it.
Oh yeah, Adrian Palicki. That's right. We did get her.
But no, we had Mockingbird. And could she have been potentially an original Mockingbird, or the Mockingjay? Maybe.
Interesting. Yeah.
But no, I know this is going to sound really dumb, but I bet I put a lot of money into it. I bet she was an analyst. She was just an analyst. Could she be someone else? Absolutely. That would be really awesome. But I just had this weird feeling that she was an analyst that came in, helped Clint kind of transition into the spy life, and they got happy they were happy and they wanted to run away. And that's when they ran away. Well, they didn't run away. They ran away with S.H.I.E.L.D.'s approval, with Nick Fury's approval. I'm sorry. S.H.I.E.L.D. does not matter. It's only Fury's approval.
I feel that. Yeah. So I'd rather that character be introduced or whatever. Let her just be, like you said, an analyst, and they came together. Why not? That happens in real reality. It makes it more real. You know, they don't always have to heroes don't have to only hook up with other heroes. You know, that doesn't have to happen.
They're just normal people, just like you and me.
Any other cool moments for you that you want to highlight before I throw mine out there?
No, not really. I mean, that final fight was a lot of fun, and it'll be exciting to see where it goes. But the episode was so like point and shoot, not to make a pun, but it was just there was so much to it, yet not enough that there was nothing that really pulled it together that like pulled my attention.
It was subdued because of the crazy action that we got in that third episode. For me, some of the highlights, I think, like you said, because it was so subdued, was we actually had a bonding session, I think, a lot more than the previous episodes with Kate and Clint. I thought that was great.
Christmas,
because Kate is over at the house, because of they find out that there was, in the systems trying to get the information. So in this, they got to like really meld a little bit, and because Kate saw, her mom and Jack Duquesne, swordsman, kind of getting together. So she was like, you know what, let me go, because this guy's helping me out. He's away from his family. And so I really liked that they kind of bonded a lot more in this episode. That was really sweet and touching. What else? So then, they have to go get their costume, the whole thing with the LARPers. I love the LARPers coming back, and that kind of kinship there, and getting the bag of equipment that was taken. So they needed the cop LARPer to get that. So that just whole moment with the LARPers was cute. And then when she comes, when Wendy, the cop, comes back with the bag, and
you have a bag,
and Clinton's felt exactly. Clinton is thinking, oh, I can just grab the bag. She's like, this my wife gave me this bag, which I also thought was a good LGBTQ moment. That was very sweet.
That was
that bag means a lot to me. It has the word bombshell on it. That was so sweet. Like, she wanted that. So Kate was like, you're gonna get your bag back. I got you, girl. That was so cute. And then we have this thing about boomerang arrows. Hilarious. What did you think about that? I thought that was super funny. It's super cute.
You just got to be careful.
I love that.
You just got to be careful. No, Kate, no, sweetie. That's a cute idea, but no.
And then last but not least, another cute moment with the two of them, the coin trick.
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think about that? Was that in the comics? Um, I don't see that. Yeah, is also it was in the comics. It was in the comics. So that was just cute. And then again, just to build a companionship, like train me. How did you do that? Like that builds. That's just great character building and making you feel these characters. And if we're passing the torch, because as I don't know if you predicted, but I think we're gonna pass the torch a little bit, at the end of this, because yeah, we're introducing Young Avengers. We're having Kate Bishop. We already let go of the original Black Widow. We have the new Yelena White Widow. So there's these transitions, and it's important because it's also life lessons that we learn that things change, but we can also connect with the past. But just great character building, great episode, subdued but needed. It's what makes you fall in love with these characters even more, and why you become so attached as we move along with the tales and the amazing adventures that we go upon with these characters. So
absolutely. And it's to go back, that's one thing that Jeremy Renner, a human being, a normal person, said he's like, I never imagined to be 50 and to be a superhero. Like you can tell. I think that's one thing that you can see in the way he's acting. He's making it very clear that he's getting old. He's kind of over this. He's ready to just be a dad and be at home with his family. If you read the interviews, no one said anything about a new Avengers. No one said this. No one said that. No, they're coming. These characters will never go away. If we ever get Tony Stark again, we will see RDJ. If we ever see if we ever see Thor, just the god Thor, we will see Chris Hemsworth. We won't see these other characters, these other actors come in unless it's like 20 years from now and these people can't catch up. They are retiring because age is a monster, and they have to. They need to, and it's time. Yeah. And it's a great way to progress. It's a great way to move forward. And one of the things that you can really respect about Marvel Entertainment and Disney is that they're like, if we stand still, people are going to get bored. And where you already see the audience is getting a little bit bored with superhero movies, and yet they're still seeing bang numbers from movies like, once again, like Eternals. Nobody really knows those characters unless you're a comic fan. No one. And yet they were breaking box office expectations.
Hell yeah. And I think it's very, very important as storytellers and people in an entertainment industry to acknowledge these kind of facts now. I'm tired of, Spider-Man's getting ready to come out, and we've had all these other Spider-Man films, iterations of Spider-Man, which they are now packaging into a really amazing story that I'm really looking forward to, right? I think we all are. But we've had so many Spider-Mans, we've had so many Supermans, it's there, but we also know as fans, there's so many other stories to tell, and we want to see those characters. So in order to do that, we need to stop returning to the well. We don't need another quote unquote Superman movie, or, X movie, because there's so many other characters. Let's tell those stories. So, we're going to get a new Hawkeye, but with Kate Bishop, because there's so many stories with Kate Bishop to tell, so just, yeah, that's also kind of why I'm like with this whole the Black Panther casting with Chadwick, who we all love Chadwick, but that's a whole nother, and I could go off on a whole tangent there, but it's up in the air what they're gonna do. I would have liked a recasting there to just put that out there real quick, because there's more stories to tell there, but we'll see now. But yeah, I think in order to get to these other stories we want to see, we have to tell realistic storytelling and show evolution within storytelling and age in storytelling. It's so important. But I'm so excited. This was a great episode. 3 and 4 was killer. And now glimpses of Netflix characters coming into the fray. I can't wait. I'm super excited. Heather, until we drop episode 5 and 6 recap, how can they reach out to you, and also what other stuff you have on the channel? Because you're killing it with the comic stuff. I'm so excited with that. Thank you.
Well, this week we did have kind of an issue. I blame it on toddler upstairs problems. But you can definitely find it. You can definitely read more comments. We're definitely trying to post as much as we can on the website. and you can see New Release Wednesday. We took back the old moniker, and New Release Wednesday with new books every week. It will be back next week. I swear it will be back. I will figure out how to deal with a screaming toddler upstairs. I swear. But you can find us every Wednesday there. Pick up some new books, support your local comic shop. Definitely, especially during the holiday season. Pick up some books, but Hawkeye from Matt Fraction and David Aja are definitely available at your local comic shop. Grab them for whoever you want, whoever's the biggest fan in your house. It's a great stocking stuffer. It's $14.99. Great book. You can find me on Twitter at NerdIsAHeather. And you can just switch that up for TikTok. I know I'm old, but I'm on TikTok at HeatherIsANerd, and on Instagram at HeatherIsANerd with underscores instead of spaces.
There you go. I'm so excited. Heather back with the OG New Release Wednesday comics, all of that. I love it. And also make sure you check out our WordPress, because she has a whole team of writers that are going to be talking all things comics on our WordPress site. And then maybe down the line, more videos. I know, can we give them the glimpse or just the hint that you're going to be dropping outside of the comic stuff, behind the counter, a new series?
Oh, sure. Yeah. So I still have to talk to all of my retailer friends, but if you are interested in, the silly stories with Starbucks, where they talk about all the silly, weird situations with customers, I have a slew of friends that are going to get together, and we're going to kind of just talk about the silly things. It's nothing long, 10 to 15 minute videos. Some of them might be even as short as like 3 or 5 minutes. Just something to brighten up your day and make us feel a little bit less stressed and feel a little bit more comfortable that we're not the only ones going crazy over here. But that's going to be behind tales from behind the comic counter. So we're really excited about that.
I love it. I can't wait for that new playlist series to drop. What's the frequency? Like every other week, every week? What are you thinking on that?
We haven't quite figured it out yet. I'm still trying to figure out the rules, because we don't want to be too graphic. And I don't mean like explicit. It's we're retailers. We curse a lot, so I have to make some rules. But once we can get some stories, and I'm hoping once a week will be mini stories, 5-minute episodes once a week. We can give that to you. We can do that.
Awesome. So in the new year or soon?
Let's plan for the new year.
There we go. Give yourself some times. I love it. Check them out. So excited. Thank you, Heather. Oh, also what Heather brought to the table. Let's give them a shout out. Bunnies and Cream. We want to give an extra special shout out to our sponsor, Bunnies and Cream. Nerd out in your own self-care with body sprays, candles, and bath bombs, and scents like Magical Girl, a magical blend of grape, peach, and plum with sparkling citrus and rose that brings out your most powerful side. And Filler Episode, the perfect summer scents of sweet watermelon and bright apricot that will distract you just long enough until the main storyline can continue. With our special promo code, you can get 10% off your order of $20 or more simply by going to bunniesandcream.com and enter Nerds Rule at checkout. That is NERDSRULE at checkout. Thanks, Heather and Bunnies and Cream. We appreciate you. All right. Forgot to do that. We need to do that at the beginning of the episode. And I almost forgot until Heather was talking. I was like, yo, let me find that real quick. So shout out to Bunnies and Cream. We appreciate you. For your boy Kuya P, it's the legend Kuya P at Twitter, TikTok, and IG. Over at the Nerds of Color, Show Pal Show. And of course, here with Heather at the NRW and at New Release Wednesday, where nerds rule the world. And we will be back with episode 5 and 6 recap, talking all about Hawkeye on Disney Plus, where we hope to hit the mark. We're out of here.